Oh my God, get on in. Outlast Clemson. The second half. But really, it's about this defense. LSU's defense was incredible tonight. LSU's defense put the clamp down on all three phases of the Clemson offense, except for some surges in the pass game here or there, some plays by Wesco here or there. Other than that, 10 points, just one touchdown from Clemson. LSU completely put the clamp down on them with or without A.J. Halsey. Things looked icy for a minute there in the first half, but in reality, LSU's defense were in control of this game. All they needed was the offense to get up to their level. It took some time. The offense rode some dumb penalties, moments on the offensive line, some really bad mistakes, bad play call by Joe Sloan, and bad decision by Kelly to go for it there on fourth down 10 to play before half. Hilton on the fumble, you give up points. You go into half down 10-3. It looked like, if Clemson score here, go up 17-3, we could really be in trouble here. And instead, LSU's defense held firm, put the clamp down, and continuously gave this offense chance after chance after chance until they got it going. They figured it out, and LSU wins. First time Brian Kelly wins an opener as LSU head coach. The Tigers win 17-10. I think the MVP has to either be Harold Perkins or Mansour Delane. Huge games from both of them. Although Aaron Anderson, 6 catches, 99 yards was his final, I think. Let me check. Let's look at these final stats, because we know Harold Perkins at least had 10.5 TFLs and the sack, and it's just continued huge big-time pressures in this game. Both Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins had big-time late pressures in this game. Whit Weeks, actually, stunningly, for the first time in his LSU career, didn't register a single statistic in the entirety of the first half. Not one tackle, not a sack, not a TFL, nothing from Whit Weeks in that first half. He was being held a lot of plays. He was just out of rhythm, out of sorts. That second half was a gut performance from Whit Weeks, where Whit gave you everything. Gave you everything he's got. He gave you everything he's got with that motor. 3 huge pressures to finish off this game, all on critical downs. Once again, Harold Perkins had the pressure and the quarterback hit that finished this game off as well. Just unbelievable performance from this defense. Just unbelievable. All of the talk about this defense is going to be great. This defense is going to be, 5-star for LSU. This defense is going to be elite, top 25. That talk was, for the first time in a long time at LSU, well-warranted and not hype. You saw a defense that wasn't straight. They were swarming together. They were flowing to the football together, but they weren't fucking around. They weren't looking like a chicken with their head cut off like they have so many times recently. Harold Perkins leads the way with 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1.5 TFLs, 2 quarterback hits. This was an all-encompassing defensive performance from so many different guys on this team. A.J. Halsey came off the bench and played his part. A big pass breakup on third down, a few tackles here or there. Bernard Gooden had a few big moments. Patrick Payton, the stats aren't going to show it. He had some real impressive moments. Jack Pyburn, the stats aren't going to show it either. And I felt like he was key in this game. Had so many big moments in this game, affected things and created news for some big plays. Out of his 3 total tackles, I think all. Then the second I come outside after the LSU game, there's a helicopter. There's little girls out here screaming and dancing in formation. There's just nonstop cars coming past my place. This is not your LSU defense in the last few years, is it? This is everything and more that we were hoping for. Cade Klubnik had nowhere to go with the football most of the time. And even when there were openings, were shut pretty quickly. This looked like an LSU defense. What did you all see? How did you all enjoy the game? What was your takeaways from this game? Once again, you just can't really say it enough, but this was a huge performance by LSU. Everything going against us going into this game. So much from just the picks against us, the different guys kind of hobbled, AJ Halsey being suspended, the offensive line questions, so many just things going against LSU. No Nick Anderson in this game. Chris Hilton Jr. very much on the periphery. And somehow LSU gutted out a game that their offense was on the verge of just throwing away on so many different occasions. And our defense, time after time after time, with their backs against the wall, made play after play after play. Tiger Mania, what's up, brother? He says, God bless Blake Baker. Ryan Bowen says, feels unfamiliar. I know, doesn't it? Like an LSU defense that is rip-roaring, finishes the game off, wins the game for the LSU offense. An LSU offense that was inept and then figures it out, makes adjustments. A secondary that's just all over, just locked down. Usually when that ball goes up in the air, you're going, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. But when it would go up in the air, you just had a feeling Mansour Lane would lock that thing down. And even PJ Woodland, I think he had like one pass caught on him. Other than that, he was for sure locked down, and he actually started the game for LSU in a good way, where he had a very impressive sack on third down on one of the first drives of the game. And Jack Pyburn was batting a pass. Harold Perkins and Ahmad Bro. Perkins just looked fantastic in his new role, I have to say. They really were utilizing Perkins beautifully. I'll have to go into the game film and analyze it again, analyze it more. But from what I remember from the game, Harold Perkins was a menace at all times. He was all over the place, affecting the backfield, affecting the line of scrimmage, making tackles down the field, in coverage on a few plays. It was exactly what you want to see from Harold Perkins. And as much as people would say, oh, in the star position, he'll be stuck in coverage. Well, he finishes the game with a sack and 1.5 TFLs and 2 huge game-turning quarterback hits and pressures on some blitzes. So Blake Baker, he's found a way. He's found a way. We're going to see as the season continues, but this defensive formula was absolutely beautiful for LSU fans to watch. I know it was. And I'm going to have so much fun watching this again and again and again. From the beginning, there was disruption from this LSU defense. The beginning, the middle, and the end. LSU defense, a complete freaking performance. I am just overjoyed with what Blake Baker and this defense did in this game. But offensively, LSU were poor for a lot of that first half. Just one completion to a receiver in the entire first quarter. You had 2 fumbles, one from Bauer Sharp that really backed LSU's defense into their own 24-yard line, and they held Clemson to a field goal. Huge play there. And Patrick Payton making some plays in there defensively to stop that on third down and hold them to a field goal try. And LSU's offense was just not figuring it out. Having some plays here and there, but just not figuring it out. And inside the red zone, another typical week 1 failure inside the red zone, where you had that chance to take a field goal, go into half 10-6, and instead you felt confident with going with Nuss and going with this play that really should have worked, but Clemson snuffed it out. Chris Hilton Jr. looked really rusty on the play, going all the way back to make the catch. On the screen, it just looked so weird. He reverted a few yards. 1 catch, -1 yard, only 1 target throughout the entire first half for Hilton. Very ineffective in this game. I don't know why they didn't utilize him. Maybe it just looked very strange. But he fumbles inside the red zone on that play. And you felt like, wow, another huge gamble inside the red zone. Week 1, this typically happens. And now LSU what's going to happen? Well, that first half, 94 passing yards and 65 on the ground. And then, of course, as I told you, Whitweek, 0 tackles, 0 statistics in that first half. Crazy first half. And somehow LSU kept it 10-3. You get to that second half, Halsey comes back on the field. He calms things down. Mansour Delane gets more targets his way, and he intercepts Cade Klubnik. Huge play in the game. Even though Nussmeier and the offense can't score from it, they take off a bunch of more clock, start to kind of control the game. Aaron Anderson with a 39-yard, huge play through the middle. Berrien Brown with some plays. Xavion Thomas. And then Caden Durham scoring the game-tying touchdown. But you had two plays that you figured could swing this game against LSU. LSU couldn't score points from the Delane interception. And then we have Berrien Brown catching a surefire touchdown. This was an obvious touchdown, only for them to overturn it, call it an incomplete pass. It was unbelievable. They said the ball didn't survive the ground. Complete robbery. And luckily that play will not matter in the end. But it was an unreal face-melting pass from Garrett Nussmeier. And then the catch, it was like Santonio and Ben Roethlisberger to finish off that Super Bowl. Not a carbon copy of the play, but just in the corner of the end zone, over the shoulder, just an outrageous play, echoing exactly what Berrien Brown and Garrett Nussmeier have done throughout all of fall camp. And it was this sudden controversial decision that just robs the circus pass and catch and deducts 6 points off the board. I mean, even ABC's officiating commentator, the guy who refs, he commentates from the ref's point of view. Even he was like, this is a touchdown. What are they talking about? And then on the ensuing field goal, you got Damian Ramos missing it and hurting himself in the process. Luckily, it was just a cramp, but things were looking really weird there at 10-10 still. And then LSU's defense continually made plays, eliminated drive after drive after drive for Klubnik, just suffocated them. And you saw Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins, Jack Pyburn, huge pressures, huge moments. LSU had five quarterback hits. We'll have to see how many pressures Pro Football Focus gives them, but I'm sure it was a lot. They had 2 sacks, both by Woodland and Perkins with them. Woodland with an amazing one. You had Bernard Gooden with a half TFL. You had Ahmad Bro with a half TFL. Jamari Butler, half TFL. Only 4 tackles for loss total. PJ Woodland had a pass breakup. AJ Halsey with that pass breakup on third down. You had Mansour Delane with 2 and the interception. Huge game for Mansour Delane, man. He is completely locked down. Mansour Delane is everything advertised. He was immense for LSU in this game. So many of those balls that go up in the air, and he's battling or just completely shadowing. So Klubnik throws an errant pass. All of that is from a corner just being that good that you're afraid to test him and afraid to make it even catchable. Whereas in the past, you saw LSU's secondary just get absolutely eviscerated because quarterbacks could smell blood in the water. When they see Delane, when they see the guys we have out there, there's little trepidation. And now after this game, the defense has confidence, and we've got a lot of pressure going into the backfield, and the secondary is locking it down. You've got to feel good. Even a guy like Jardin Gilbert, getting a lot of criticism going into this game, produced a fantastic performance in that first half. Really, just an unbelievable performance by the LSU defense. Let's see. I want to see how many total yards. Clemson, only 261 total yards. LSU had allowed over 400 yards to every other Week 1 opponent until this game. 261 by Clemson. Clemson averaged 1.6 yards per rush tonight. And that was something we said in our preview. We said this in our preview. LSU will be able to chip away at the running game and run the football, and Clemson will not. And that's why we said, and that's why we predicted an LSU victory. Because LSU, unbeknownst to everybody else, despite all the questions, could run the football thanks to Caden Durham making those moves. The offensive line figuring it out. And Clemson could not. Yes, LSU only had 3.5 per rush, but we at least had 108 rushing yards. a huge key rushing touchdown, but just 31 rushing yards for Clemson from 20 carries. Unreal. LSU fantastic defensively. Just 230 passing yards, 19 of 38. Klubnik just 50% completion rating. So many of those errant passes due to just great coverage or pressures in his face. A lot of just great battling from this LSU defense all over the place. Only 13 first downs compared to LSU's 25. And actually, LSU ran 12 more plays than Clemson. And I want to see what the possession stats are, the time of possession. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Clemson had 11 drives and only scored on 2 of those drives. Average yards gained on each drive, just 23 yards. Average number of plays on each drive, just 5 plays. Had only one 70-plus yard drive, which is a rarity for LSU once again. Only one 5-plus minute drive. It's just 3 points off turnover when LSU coughed it up twice. And LSU forced 3 3-and-outs. They had a touchdown rate of 9%. This is how their 11 drives went for Clemson. Punt, field goal, punt, touchdown. Need it going into half, kneeled it after the fumble recovery. Field goal attempt missed, interception by Delane, punt, turnover on downs, punt, turnover on downs. LSU gave them nothing in that second half. A complete second half shutdown. Complete shutout in this second half. They had drives of 3 plays for 5 yards, 2 plays for 10, 3 plays for 2 yards, and one of 8 for 45, and 1 of 7 for 42. LSU did not allow them to possess the ball for more than 3 minutes and 16 seconds in that entire second half. Just put the absolute clamp down. Lord have mercy. Let's see what I want to see what Aaron Anderson finished with. I hope he had a 100-yard game. He finishes with 99. Finishes with 99 yards. I hate saying that, should have finished with 99. Only 99 yards. Well, Aaron Anderson, always so huge on critical downs for LSU. Always so key for LSU in these big games, in these big moments. What a gutty performance when nothing was going on for LSU in the receiving game. Nothing. Trades Green earning a and then Barry and Brown makes a play. Xavier Thomas is making some play to keep things going. And then Aaron Anderson rattled 30, and it just was Clemson down and just got absolutely incredible that we end this streak fashion. we're going to be doing an article real quick, and hope you guys stay tuned for that, because we're going to fill that with as much. Heard us went through some of the 11 drives for Clemson, only 2 scoring drives. There's so many access to stats that we have there, just we're pouring through, and it's so impressive for LSU right now. Night for LSU. Alabama losing. Alabama looking. They weren't expected to win. Yes,